Welcome to Tarot and the Moons. I'm Ingrid, founder of Larimar, and I'm here to help guide us on a powerful journey through our emotions using the magic of the moon and the wisdom of Tarot. I'm not an astrologer, I'm an oracle. And through Tarot, I offer insights to help us regulate our feelings, heighten our self-awareness, and manifest a more empowered reality. If you're ready to explore this cosmic dance, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. All right, everyone, here we go. As you know, or you may not know, I pay attention to both the Vedic astrological sign of the moon and the tropical Western astrological sign of the moon. So in Vedic astrology, they are telling us that this new moon coming up on March 29th, 2025, or March 28th, 2025, depending on where in the world you are, um, the moon is in Pisces. And in Western tropical astrology, they're telling us that the moon is in Aries. Now, Vedic astrology is similar a little bit to Western astrology, and it's different. For me, obviously, the archetypes remain the same, but the major differences are that in Vedic astrology, they don't pay attention to the outer planets. And those outer planets are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now, traditionally, Pisces in Vedic astrology is ruled by the planet Jupiter, not Neptune. But I'm sticking with Neptune and applying Jupiter only to the extent that it will expand everything, right? So just keep that in mind. Um, and the other important thing is that the Vedic astrologers calculate the astrology using the actual star positions. And that's not the case with tropical astrology, which has been basically following its origins from ancient Greek culture. Now, what I like about the Vedic astrology is that they consider this the language of light, right? The stars being the light force, the constellations being that light force. And the other thing I love about Vedic astrology is that they tend to give you a holistic approach to astrology by actually giving you anecdotes. Like if you have your Saturn that's really debilitating one of your other houses in your system, they actually give you some holistic um, I guess you could call them salves or solutions or medicine, right? And tropical astrology, which does derive its understanding of astrology from the Greek culture, doesn't support the holistic philosophical approach anymore. And I'm always kind of wondering, who's going to take up that mantle again and claim it. But for purposes of this particular offering, I do pay attention to both Vedic and tropical astrology. And I wanted to just reiterate that. And irrespective of the zodiacal sign in which the moon resides, this is a new moon. And with every new moon, it's an opportunity to attune our PowerPoints, right? Like, what's your PowerPoint in life? And it's a great opportunity to set those PowerPoints into a cosmic celestial balance. What does this mean? It means it's a great time to set forth an intention and to set forth a new vision for yourself and to start something new that will expand as the moonlight begins to expand into its full moon cycle. Okay? So I did want to sort of also reiterate that. Now we've got several planetary rulerships that are at play with this new moon, because we also do have that partial solar eclipse in the mix of this new moon. And the sun represents our spirit, the moon represents our soul, and then we have the ruling planets of Pisces, which is Neptune. However, in Vedic astrology, they consider it to be Jupiter. And so I see that as Jupiter really expanding the qualities of both Pisces and Aries, which is where the moon is according to tropical astrology. I hope I haven't lost you. Um, but for me, this new moon is about expanding our sensitivity, especially when we understand that Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the next screen. But I did want to sort of set forth that foundation as we move forward. As you can see from the screen, Pisces is a water element and Aries is a fire element. Pisces is imaginative, empathetic, romantic, and mystical, and Aries is courageous, competitive, honest, and generous. And so our emotions for from this new moon until the full moon, right? We're doing this in cycles, is going to be swinging between this water element and fire element. And in the mix of all that, we've got dreamy Neptune, fiery Mars, and I'm going to include that Jupiter in there for the purpose of expressing both of these qualities and its expansion. All right, let's go on to the next screen. All right, so I wanted to do a little bit more of an interactive engagement here with my presentation. Um, just because, I don't know. So in Vedic astrology, we have a new moon in Pisces, its opposite axis being Virgo. And in Western tropical astrology, we have a new moon in Aries and its opposite axis being Libra. Now, whenever we have a moon in Pisces, there's a tendency for us to be emotional, or feel emotionally overloaded, um, when we're like sympathizing with other people a little bit too much, etc. And with an Aries moon, there's a tendency to be emotionally insensitive towards others, and the failure to meet our own sort of emotional needs. So for this particular new moon, we are swinging between these two emotional axes. And the key here is to establish a healthy boundary, because that's what the Piscean moon is asking us to do, and to learn how to forgive and release the past in order to nurture yourself and others. And that's what the Aries new moon is asking us to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the tarot, and I'm going to be using Tarot de la Alba Dorada, which this is a Spanish deck. I got this in Spain. It's only the 22 major arcana cards that are in this particular deck, and I felt really drawn to use this deck for this particular new moon because, well, you'll see in a second what I am referring to. So I'm just going to put this aside here for a second, and I'm going to pull, see, I told you it's a little bit more interactive for me. I'm going to pull my little, is that straight there? My little Piscean wheel here. And in for Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Again, in Vedic, they would say it's Jupiter. And this planet rules the Hanged Man. That's this version here. And the Moon. That's this version here. So the reason why I chose this representation of Pisces was because I love the wording that they use to describe the moon and to describe the Hanged Man. So for them, or this description of l'expiation, it's really sort of like an exposure to our darker side. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I can focus it here. There you go. And it's an exposure to our darker side, or humanity's darker side. Remember, we do have a partial solar eclipse. When we deal with the partial solar eclipse, for me, we're actually dealing with the more global perspective. So this is what this particular moon feels like to me when we're talking about. And then, of course, the moon itself being the illusions. So Neptune, as the ruling planet of Pisces, rules the Hanged Man and the moon. So when we're going to do our tarot readings, I'm going to be gravitating towards one or the other. Now, Neptune can be, I'm going to just put these here for a second. Neptune can be very much, where's my Neptune? Over here. Neptune can be very much about illusions, deceptions, confusion. It's also about spirituality. And I'm going to, like I said, include here Jupiter, because I want you to realize that this is all being expanded. And it is about a spiritual teaching, a global spiritual teaching. So this moon here, the illusions, is really speaking to that Neptunian energy. Okay? Ooh, there's a lot of glare there. So it's speaking to that very Neptunian energy that deals with cults of personalities. I'm going to repeat that. Pisces and Neptune can deal with the cult of personalities. And then we have this Hanged Man, which for me, the Hanged Man represents discernment. But the way that this is coming through with this particular card, it's almost like we didn't heed the teachings of discernment. And so because we didn't do so, our world will be turned upside down. And what that means to me is that things are being shown to us for the purpose of presenting us with an alternative viewpoint. This is the light and the dark, the moon, and this is literally looking at things from a different perspective. It means that things are going to be shaken up a little bit. This is also, for me, the symbol of self-sacrifice in Tarot. So these archetypes of the moon and the Hanged Man, for me, represent the discernment of our reflection. The reflection that's to take place not only through solitude, but through a balance of self-expression and self-control. Okay? So I'm going to talk now a little bit about the tarot archetypes that are influencing Aries. I'll put this here. And so Aries, as I mentioned before, is ruled by Mars. And I should have put this out before, but I didn't. There's your little Mars. And the other one was, let's see. Well, I said it was going to be either, you know, Jupiter or basically Neptune. So I'll put that over there because I'm going to use those in a second. But for me, the astrological sign of Aries ruled by Mars, not for me, but it's known that it is the Emperor, la voluntad, and the Tower, la caída, which is, this means the fall, and la voluntad means willpower. And for me, actually, and these are both obviously ruled by Mars, right? This Martian energy, which rules the sign of Aries. Now, Mars is a planet with a lot of energy, and it also has a lot of self-righteous motivation behind this energy. In particular, it's a planet that can be seen as one of anger, violence, aggression. Sorry about that. Aggression and yeah, that kind of energy sort of emerging. And the Emperor is la voluntad, which is willpower. It means willpower to me as well. This particular card means willpower and knowing when to be strong-willed and when to have mercy. Okay? When to have mercy. The Tower for me is all about improvement. It's all about what is it that wasn't working, that we knew wasn't working, and we just let it slide. Well, it's going to crumble. It's going to fall for us to improve the situation, for us to improve the foundation. And it's really asking us to explore what needs to be improved, not only in our homelands, as we also tap into our spiritual selves and use our power, our will, with mercy. This is the quintessential combination of the dark night of the soul right here with this Aries engagement. I gotta keep hitting the things so I could real focus again. So yeah, so these energies of both the Neptunian force and Aries force is also water and fire elements at play here. So with this new moon, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to move this aside for a second, and I am going to pull over here. So we've got these, you know, I'm going to include that Jupiter. Jupiter for me is like, it's going to expand these two energies for sure. These two energies are going to be expanded. So with this particular engagement, we do have a partial solar eclipse. Now, the sun card in this tarot is bienestar, which means well-being. So our well-being is going to be obscured during this particular new moon in Aries or Pisces, depending on which of the two astrological systems you engage with. Now, when we have a new moon partial solar eclipse, by the way, solar eclipses are always in the during a new moon. We have the new moon, right? The sun is not reflecting on it yet. Here's the sun over here. This moon is obscuring the sun partially because the moon is in between Earth and the sun. So the sun is not shining on Earth. This is really important that we all illuminate the light from within us because we're going to need it. Especially when we've got the Tower at play, we've got the strong-willed leaders at play, when we've got the moon, which is illusions, delusions, sometimes even insanity, and the Hanged Man, which is turning our world upside down. This is all being activated with this particular new moon. So take the time to pray. Take the time to meditate. Be the light source that we all desire for each other. And don't forget, we also have, of course, the Mars energy in here. We've got Neptunian energy. This is war, fire, anger. This is confusion. This is illusions. And then Jupiter, which is the traditional ruler of Pisces, according to Vedic astrology, really kind of expanding all of this in the background. All of this is happening, and our well-being, our bienestar, is being obscured, right? Heavy energies here for this particular new moon. Do not lose your balance. Do not feel dismayed, because actually when we're looking at this particular new moon, this is all designed for a big awakening, for a big push towards the next level of who we are supposed to step into as leaders of this quote-unquote new world. Because nothing is ever the same when you have that tower engagement. Nothing is ever the same when you have a tower engagement. Okay? Now let's get on to our reading. I hope you found that fun. I love doing the cards as opposed to the slides, because I can just go into it and you can see what I'm seeing. Yeah, and just one more thing before I do the reading. When you get to that first quarter moon, which is actually this, and where's my new moon? Here. This is also the time where you want to ramp up your meditations, ramp up your prayer time, ramp up your ritual time during this first quarter moon, as the full moon begins to be illuminated. This, for me, is when you set forth your intentions, okay? People do it on the new moon, of course, but you always have time to do it, and I feel it's always more potent if you want to manifest something, to do it during this particular time, the first quarter moon. And you guys know my my theory on eclipses. I don't go out there and look at it. That's just my tradition. Because again, you are, by looking at it, our tradition is, by looking at it, we are actually activating the forces of darkness, right? Because it's the sun, which is the sun actually is the force that illumines the moon. Otherwise we wouldn't see the moon. So it's when the sun is hitting the surface of the moon, and now we're going to have it be partially obscured. So looking at the eclipse, we are focusing on that energy stream and that darkness. It's like what you focus on, you activate. So that's why we don't look at the eclipses, just FYI. All right, let's get to our readings. All right, so you guys know the drill. I am going to be using Colette Baron Reed's The Enchanted Map Oracle cards. I'm going to be using the Arc-en-Ciel Tarot deck. And on the sides here, I have the Hanged Man, the Moon, the Emperor, and the Tower. And I will gravitate towards one or the other. Remember that I am focusing on the astrological moon signs, but you can look at your sun sign and your ascendant. They just make sure to translate them a little bit different. The sun is maybe the trajectory when you're going towards between now and the full moon. The ascendant is how you get there. And the moon, of course, is the feelings that are arising, or how you feel during this little journey from the moon cycle, from the new moon to that full moon. All right, let's begin. I think I'm going to begin with Pisces and then go around, since it's a Pisces moon. Whoa, nice. We've got this beautiful King of Pentacles. You're going to be feeling very ambitious. You're going to be feeling that you're accomplishing things. You're going to be feeling like you're creating something that others haven't even engaged with or seen before. Let's see what the Enchanted Oracle says. Metamorphosis. Wow. So there is an opportunity for you. I'm going to pull out the Tower. Don't get scared. But there is an opportunity to transform or to become something other, something that you've actually never seen within yourself, right? So one thing I didn't mention is that with the Piscean moon, it is about belief systems. And the Aries moon is about who am I, right? So for you, Pisces moon, you are going through a metamorphosis in terms of your identity. Who are you? Who do you want to become? Who do you believe you are at this point, and who do you want to become, right? And for that, you do have to sort of take things apart. By the way, this Tower is not, he's not really, you see his face, he's not really all that preoccupied that things are falling apart, because he kind of knew that it wasn't going to be working anyway. And you see the ants are building, or we're building something that wasn't working, but ants are hard workers. So, and so is the King of Pentacles, very hard worker. If we look at the chrysalis inside of the butterflies, they are completely transforming into something else. They even say that the cellular aspects of the butterflies when they're caterpillars are completely different. So by the end of this new moon, by the end of this partial solar eclipse period of time, you will, Pisces moon babies, you will be completely different. You will have built something completely different. Keep your faith up. This is a 25, which is a 7, and this is a 16, which is also a 7. Keep your faith up. This is very much aligned with the Piscean energy, right, of faith and belief systems. Beautiful. And, you know, again, remember, the Tower is ruled by Mars. So use your energy, your flame, your fire to really catapult yourself into this new being that you wish to become. All right, now we're going into Aries. Potential, 4 of Pentacles, 2 Pentacles so far, 4 of Pentacles. That's just telling me on a global scale already, something with finances. But yeah, for those of you with that Aries moon, sun or rising, what is it that you want to learn? Because there's something for you, Aries, that you've been eyeing on, really kind of lifting up. But it does require that you study. It does require that you go into sort of like a school or a structure for you to realize that dream. And by the end of this period, you will feel this energy that you have the potential to do great things and to lift them up. Okay? Spark. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful card, right? So there's a spark of energy, a spark of creativity, a spark of inspiration coming to you. Definitely listen to music, since this is coming up with this violin. This violin is sort of like energy. What you're seeking is not going to be happening in a linear fashion, even though you're desiring that. It's actually going to come out of the blue, okay? Again, I'm being gravitated towards the la caída, the fall, because there's something unexpected that sort of arises for you, Aries. You didn't see it coming. And when we see the Tower, it very much has that energy. We didn't see it coming. Next we have, oops, let me move this over. Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. Oops, almost knocked down everything. All right. We have here for the Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, what is this? 2, 4, 6, 9. Sustained satisfaction. Only because it's water. I'm just tapping into the Taurian energies. Only because it's water, I'm gravitating towards the moon here. Because the reason why I hesitated, aside from counting, the reason why I hesitated was because I got this impression that for those of you with Taurus, you have been complacent. There's something here where you have been just coasting. And it's time for this overflow of energy, right? When we know we're supposed to be doing something and we don't do it because we want to stay safe, because we want to be in the space of, I don't want to rock the boat too much. I'd rather be in my safe space. You will miss opportunities. You will be living in a space of illusions and delusions because you're choosing to stay quote unquote safe. But even when we do that, folks, the overflow of emotions can shake our world. So it's one of those things like, don't get too complacent. Don't get in that space of, oh, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to complicate my life. Yeah, the overwhelm will come from within. So this is what it felt like for me for Taurus babies. It's like you will feel the flow. It's like the tsunami will come from within because you've been hoarding the emotions. You've been keeping it sort of like selfishly within yourself, the gifts that you have to offer the world. Let's see what your guidance is. Solitude. Look at that. That's actually what I was feeling that you were doing already. And I really feel strongly that it's time to go out, that it's time to engage, that it's time to share your emotions and not stay in this field of solitude where it starts getting swampy, right? Like it starts just feeling like a very swamp-like energy. So definitely Taurians, don't seclude, I think is the message for me. Don't seclude. Expose yourself. Don't live in the space of illusions. This just feels very emotional for those of you with Taurus moons. All right, let's move on to Gemini moons. What do we have here? Woohoo! We've got this beautiful 9 of Pentacles. So you are transforming experiences. You are, for me, I feel like this is also emotional, but in a different way. You are choosing to see the other aspects of yourself, the other aspects of your family even, in order to transform those experiences and see it from that different perspective. Mountain. Wow. Wow. I mean, look at this mountain, right? It's like, it's not just a mountain. It's like entering into a cave, but what's really appearing for me is that mouth open, the opening of the throat chakra, the speaking your truth, the seeing perhaps what we don't want to see, right? And the shock value of what we don't want to see, right? Because this is a card of this particular rendition of the Fool is to seeing that within ourselves that we don't want to see. For you is to see something within the family, the Pentacles, the body, right? The physical body that we don't want to see. And yes, it might be a difficult engagement. Whenever we do see the mountains, this can be in the Lenormand readings or just just read the symbols as they appear. This can be shedding light and illumination. Even when I try to move this, it's like, there you go. You see that moon, and it's actually a moon that's shining down on that mountain. So you are getting guidance. You are getting sort of a pathway of how you can express yourself in a more, I feel like, a more holistic way, so that you are able to expand your vision. And I do feel, I'm tapping into somebody here, I do feel it's about the vision of the family. All right, next we have Cancer moon. Woohoo! Seize the moment, seize the opportunity. This is my Carpe Diem card. When I was illustrating this, this was not only the sort of soul engagement with the self, but this was also like seeking those opportunities. Obviously, this is a fire sign. I'm going to go with the willpower here. Seize the opportunity, seize the moment, seize the chance to create from within, and use that willpower to accomplish it. Cleaning house. So one of the things that you have to do in order to really seize the moment is to clean out the debris, clean out the things that you don't need anymore. Spring cleaning. Hello, we are now engaging in this energy of springtime, right? So clean up your house, clean up what doesn't serve you anymore. Isn't that cute, the little sweepers? Yeah, and just throw it out. And even when you're throwing it out, you can see the sun kind of shining into your space. But this will all take willpower. You can do it, Cancer. You can do it, Cancer babies. All right. Next we have, oops, if I can get the card. Is that one card or two cards? Leos. Leo, you have the Chariot. You're moving forward with confidence. You're literally, I feel like I heard the word bulldozing. You're bulldozing through the crap. You are not engaging it anymore. You are just moving forward pretty strongly with that willpower, right? So this is a leadership quality. This is literally telling you move forward with confidence. Woohoo, I like that. And be committed to it. This is a star energy. Look at this beautiful card. This is a star energy. Be committed to your goals, to the focus, right? When we see the Chariot, they're moving forward pretty strongly, pretty swiftly, because they know where they're going, right? So be committed to the path. Beautiful, Leo. Virgo. You got the moon, Virgo. There's this beautiful moon energy that's coming in for you during this new moon engagement. I really want to say that it's important for you to start looking at things from a different perspective, Virgos. You have been, I almost gravitated towards the fire energy, but it's not. You have literally been drowning within your own emotions because you refuse to see things differently, and you're refusing to see your own aspects of yourself that you need to start paying attention to, that you need to start clearing up, okay? Wide open. Be open to this possibility. Be open to seeing yourself in a different light so that you can clear out what doesn't serve, so that you can clear out those aspects of yourself that you don't even like. You know, you just are constantly being shown by others, not appreciating this, I'm not appreciating that, da 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 da. But you're refusing to do anything about it. Be open to the suggestions that this new moon has for you, right? This is all about self-reflection for you guys. Next we have Libras. Judgment, innocence, looking at the innocence of every situation. This is telling me that you're looking back, and I am going to be pulled again to this energy, of the Hanged Man. This is telling me that you are looking back at the past to see a situation that was not too pleasant, but you're willing to, with this strong Arcana card, you are willing to look at it at least so that you don't have to revisit it again. Talisman. Ooh, you know, this reminded me of Odin because the Hangman is this story of Odin, and Odin doing a self-sacrifice in order to communicate with the gods, gave them, the gods gave him the runes. And that's how he saw the runes within the ground. It was because he was hanging upside down. So anyway, the talisman reminded me of that. Be your own talisman here. Like there's actually a rune there. Be your own talisman in your explorations of the past, so that you can finally release it, so you can finally forgive yourself and those involved by looking at their innocence and your own innocence. Scorpio babies. What do we have here? The Seven of Cups. Emotions are coming up here. The Seven of Cups. This is a very nurturing energy. This is very much about you having faith in the path forward. I definitely see this like birthing. Oh, sorry. I'm going to gravitate towards the Tower here. I definitely see the birthing of something new, obviously, with the nest here, right? But it's also about you having faith that you can regulate your emotions and actually be okay with what's going to be birthed. The Tower, of course, and that very calm face, that if you pay attention and regulate those emotions, what's coming your way, it's like no big deal. The Golden Palace. Now, isn't that awesome? Regulate those emotions. Know that something new is being birthed. Things that are not working for you are going to be broken down. They're going to fall apart. You stay within your center because you've regulated your emotions. And this tower becomes a freaking palace, right? There's something better, bigger, more awesome for you waiting on the other side of this new moon engagement. And remember, guys, we're not only talking about that new moon, we are talking about the eclipse, right? That partial solar eclipse is also playing a part in this. Sagittarius, subconscious messenger, Prince of Cups. This is all about you being in self-reflection. I am gravitating towards the moon energy here. Number one, it's cups. Number two, this is very much a Neptunian energy. When we see the prince, it's very Neptunian because he can live in his own illusions here, right? So you do want to do the self-discovery, the spiritual engagement, but you don't want to get lost so that, you know, you don't fall off that cliff in your search for illumination. Rock bottom. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hit that rock bottom in your search for illumination. It is important that you pay attention to the messages from the subconscious. It is important that you dip your toes into the waters to learn something about yourself, to be in spiritual practice with yourself. However, everything that's done in an extreme nature can lead to something dangerous. Remember what I said before, these Neptunian energy in combination with this Mars, we're talking about cults of personalities. So you want to be careful and you want to hone back your emotions and dive in, but don't do it head first, certainly not at this time. That's Sagittarius. And then we've got Capricorn. Profound thinking, right? We are literally gravitating towards the tower. Guys, we've gotten a lot of towers here. I hope that there isn't a tower moment on a global perspective, but there's a lot of sort of tower energy here. And whenever we have a solar eclipse, I do see it as something happening on a more global perspective. When we have lunar eclipses, I feel like it's more individual. So solar is more like, I don't know, leaders and nations and stuff like that. So anyway, profound thinking, be careful how you communicate. Be careful what you're communicating to others and to yourself, okay? Communicate with a softness so that things don't fall apart very violently. I'm being drawn to this sort of fiery energy up here. You want to be in a calmer state as you move forward during this time period of the new moon and the full moon. Home. All right. So, I mean, this is the fall, something in the homeland, home, your home. You want to be careful how you communicate. This does have to do with the family. Use wise words. You see that? I don't know if you could see that. A little owl right there. Use wise words when you're engaging with others, okay, during this time period, because you don't want things to fall apart because of some words or communication that's been exchanged. There's no need. The profound thinking here has a bow. There's just no need. So be careful with the home. And last and never least, Aquarius. Accomplishment. Wow, this is beautiful. Definitely going into that willpower energy. Very beautiful. You're going to start something, you're ending something and you're going to start something new. It is a creative project. It is something that you are teaching others about. Gentle gardener. So I would say this is your energy right here. Like you're teaching others how to perhaps garden, how to maybe even connect to the cosmic mother. Wow, that was interesting. Yeah, connecting to the cosmic mother. And this is related to business, and it also is related to something creative, something with passion. Beautiful. All right, guys, that's it. Enjoy first of all, your new moon. And second of all, be in the space of prayer and meditation with that partial solar eclipse. All right, until next time, bye.